I had many of my students every year tell me that their life has been transformed by it.
Tell me, what are some of the things the students would tell you?
Which ones?
The ones who have, said to you, our lives have been transformed. So have they given examples how their lives, had become different or things they were doing differently as a result of the education that they
Well,
received? Welcome to another episode of Reframe for Resilience. This is the podcast where we explore real transformations, real stories from individuals who have faced challenges and who have taken different perspectives, in short, have reframed to produce productive results and interesting results. I'm Dr. Frank Douglas, the host of the podcast, and today's guest is Ms. Marsha Enright. She is an educational entrepreneur, has been doing this for more than 15 years, an expert in the Montessori principle. She is presently engaged in setting up a new college, which will be called Reliance College. We'll hear some more about it. It's really focused on getting young people to be more reliant and really fits with our theme of reframing for resilience. Ms. Enright, welcome.
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm looking forward to the conversation. I enjoyed the preview
Thank you.
that we had, and I'm sure our audience will. So, to get started, could you sort of think back on perhaps a challenge that you had that led you to think about looking at education differently and actually doing it differently?
Well, the situation that caused that actually goes back to my childhood when I really loved school, but I found a lot of other students uh, frustrated in school. And I said to myself, well, I don't want my own children to have that experience when they grow up. I want them to love learning as much as I do. And so I had it in my mind to find some kind of educational system that would keep that love of learning going. And when I was about 20, I came across some articles about the Montessori method, and I said, sounds really good. This sounds like what I'm looking for. So I went and read everything I could and educated myself about it and sent my children to a Montessori children's house, which is what other people call a preschool, and loved it. And then I sent my oldest child to a Montessori elementary school, which then was going to close. So I knew some other people by that time, and I said, would you want to start our own school? So in 1990, I started a Montessori elementary school here in Chicago, Council Oak Montessori School. And it's going till this day, and it still gets rated A plus by Chicago Magazine and other places like that for the education that it gives children. And the Montessori philosophy and method was so um, effective for the children that I became an expert on it. And I thought to myself, I could see that there were a lot of things missing in university education these days, and that the students were not getting the kind of education they needed to become really self-reliant entrepreneurs of their own lives. And I said, I think we need a new college to do that. And so that's when I started as a demonstration program, I started a summer program in 2009 and put everything I knew about optimal education for that level of development into the program and had really excellent results with it. I had many of my students every year tell me that their life has been transformed by it.
Tell me, what are some of the things the students would tell you?
Which ones?
The ones who have, said to you, our lives have been transformed. So have they given examples how their lives, had become different or things they were doing differently as a result of the education that they
Well,
received?
Sure. Just by what happens during the week at our program is the way we teach them, they learn how to understand anything they read for themselves without the need of an authority. So when they go out and that greatly increases their self-confidence, but also they learn how to have something valuable to say to other people because of the way our discussion seminars work. And that also tremendously increases their self-confidence and it helps them form very close relationships with the other people that are in the seminar themselves. In fact, my students tend to keep in touch with each other for years afterwards. So now the oldest ones are in their 30s and they're still friends with each other. And uh, so they come out of 1 week with just a tremendously increased sense of self-possession, of uh, ability to understand anything themselves, so self-confidence in their thinking, highly increased thinking skills, and a great way of knowing how to interact with other people, plus the knowledge that they get in what we're reading. So,
Yes. No, that's actually incredible. This self-confidence, knowledge of how to interact with people. It's just so important. So often I reflect back and when I left academia and joined industry, which is where now you have to work in teams. Uh, and
exactly.
in academia, in the university setting, depending on how large your group were, you probably were never really exposed to working in teams. And so this whole understanding of interacting with people and relationship with others, how you do that in a productive manner, rather than doing it in a way where everyone is sort of competing.
Exactly. Exactly. And the way that we run our seminars, our reading groups, they learn all kinds of special principles of how to actively listen to the other person speaking. So, you know how in a lot of discussions, you'll have somebody who's sitting there just waiting to say what they want to say, and they're not really listening to the other people. So that is really discouraged in our discussions. And we teach the students a lot of the skills of how to listen to the other person and actually echo back what that person is saying so that it validates that you did understand what the other person was saying, and then add what you're saying onto what they said. And it just develops this sense of uh, tremendous interest. You learn how other people think. You end up trusting the other people. It's very powerful.
No, it really is powerful, and as a matter of fact, it's something that, of course, you know, but we learn in industry. Is that when the scientists are listening to each other's ideas, understanding those ideas, and then are adding to those ideas, that's where the innovation occurs.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
innovation does not occur when they are closed to ideas and just looking at their own idea. The
Exactly.
innovation actually occurs, where there are the overlaps.
Exactly. Where the ideas, especially ideas from different domains of
Abs-
knowledge are brought together. And
From
and
the,
I was going to say that's something else that we emphasize in our program because we have the students read texts from across the domains, from physics to philosophy, poetry, history, economics, but they're all connected by a theme every year. And we encourage the students to figure out what are the connections because in the real world, everything is connected, right? And we also emphasize what is the connection between this idea, abstract idea you're looking in the classroom, you're learning in the classroom, and what goes on in the world. How does it affect, if you use this idea in the world, what happens? And so it's a lot of integrating principles that we're helping them develop.
I had the wonderful opportunity of being the global head of research and development of a global company. And sitting around my table were individuals. It was a merged company. So there were individuals who had been the global head of research and development in their company. And
Mm.
so there was a German head of R&D, a French head of R&D, a US head of R&D, and a Japanese head of R&D sitting around that table. And because of their cultural backgrounds and because that their universities that they went to had different approaches, there was just such a richness in the discussion. And so many different ideas came as we listened to each other and we built off of each other's ideas. So tell me a bit about the Reliance College that you're now embarking on. What are you hoping to achieve?
So Reliance College is a uniquely organized program with a very rigorous liberal arts component and also a practical experience component. And the liberal arts component is people don't often understand that liberal arts was originally the kind of learning that you needed to be a free person. It comes from the same root, liberal, as liberty. So it's the knowledge and the thinking skills that you need in order to navigate life as a free person. And it's been, unfortunately, a lot of liberal arts programs have been greatly degraded, but ours is organized by uh, great questions about life, the world, how did things develop, where did civilization come from, how do civilizations fall, what is freedom, do humans have free will, all kinds of questions like that. And all of our readings and our study are related to these questions. And we use our special dialogue format. But we also learn mathematics, language, logic, science, and that's all part of the liberal arts program because we want the person to be very well prepared to with whatever they need to face in life. And then every year, the student will have one part of the year in which they will do a project in an area of their professional interest. And they will try to find out, they'll research what kind of problems are there in that area of interest, and try to come up with a solution for it. So that way they'll be networked with accomplished professionals, they'll get a lot of practical experience, they'll develop a practical portfolio to add to their academic portfolio and connections with people in the employment area.
So tell me, as we close, one sentence in which you would like to capture the importance of your approach to building resilience.
You build resilience by helping young people get the knowledge and tools they need to be self-confident so that they can face any challenge that they've come into life and to develop the kind of relationships with other people that will be a great network for them.
Ms. Enright, thank you very much, and we wish you all success with Reliance College. It has
Thank
been
you
a
very
pleasure.
much. I appreciate being on your podcast.